Let's go to Matthew in Camborne. Matthew, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Yes. Now, I've been going through a lot of cancer treatments. I've had 3 lines of treatment. Now, last year, I had a newly licensed drug, which has resulted in remission, which has held, but my immune system has really collapsed. And that, when I checked my consent form, damage to the immune system was not listed as one of the risks. I was wondering if I do have redress, maybe against the drug manufacturer, particularly as my consultant now says the manufacturer is now actually saying this is a risk.
Okay, thank you for your call, Matthew, and congratulations on being in remission. How long were you undergoing treatment under the first 2 lines of cancer treatment?
I had 6 cycles of chemo in 2022. In 23, I relapsed and had 4 more cycles of chemo and a stem cell transplant. I then relapsed again, and then I had this newly licensed, what's called a targeted therapy, which it works by making your immune system fight the cancer.
Okay. Have you reread that consent form, I assume? What?
I looked at it, and nowhere on it, and I've checked the medical terms on it.
Yeah.
Nowhere on it does it says damage to the immune system.
Give me some examples of some of the things it did say.
It went. I'd have to go and find it again, but it goes through all the usual ones, such as vomiting. It can say death as well. Yeah, I think it says death as well, and all sorts of things like that. From the quotes.
Yeah, but presumably it says risk of heart failure.
Yes, I think that's on there.
Yeah, presumably it says risk of distress to the endocrinal system.
I can't remember.
Okay. The reason I'm asking you these things is that is the way the law looks at this, and I've got to be very clinical here, Matthew. I need to disassociate
that's fine.
myself from the seriousness of your physical condition, if that's okay. The way the law looks at this is it says, well, let's assume the drug manufacturer was negligent. I'm going to take that as read, okay? I'm going to assume they were negligent in not listing that.
Right.
All right. So let's take that as read. If it had said on the consent form there was a risk of serious damage to your immune system, would you still have signed the form and gone ahead with the treatment? And if the answer to that is yes, you would have still gone ahead with the treatment, then the negligent failure to mention those side effects hasn't actually caused you any loss, because if it had said that, the same would have happened. And the negligence is in the form not saying that.
Right.
So the way the court will look at it is say, well, you've had 2 failed courses of chemotherapy and you've had stem cell therapy.
Yeah.
It's the 3rd one. Presumably you're very keen for a cure.
Yeah.
If the consent form had said there is a risk of damage to your immune system, possibly serious damage to your immune system, would you have signed that form anyway, 3rd time round? What would your answer to that be?
Well, in truth, when I was handed the consent form, I was in so much pain. I really didn't know what I was doing. I just said, "Look, I'll sign it."
You see, this is the problem. You consented to death. You consented to the risk of death.
Yes.
You consented to the risk of heart failure. You consented to the risk, I suspect, of endocrinal failure, and many other things. My gut feeling, and your honesty here, your frankness is confirming this, is that a judge would probably say, if it had said on the form risk of damage to the immune system, you probably would have signed that still and gone ahead with it. In which case, the failure to say it hasn't made a difference. Does that make sense?
Yes.
As a result of which, even if there was negligence, you wouldn't be able to prove it's caused any injury to you. Because without that negligence, if the form had said risk of damage to your immune system, the same would have happened.
Yeah, I
So
get you.
I don't think you've got a claim here, Matthew, as unfair as that sounds.
No. That's why I've phoned, just to find out if it's worth spending any precious time in doing that sort of thing.
But look, you've got precious time now, which is what's important. If you want another view, there's an organisation called the Association of Victims of Medical Accidents, which will give you free advice on this. You can go and get a free second opinion if you want.
Sorry, say that.
It's called AVMA, the Association for Victims of Medical Accidents.